Hi, welcome to another episode of Real Time Meal Times, which is where we cook food in real time and hopefully it doesn't take too long. Today I am cooking a lasagna soup. When I heard it I went, ooh, that sounds horrible. But first of all, the reason I'm doing it is because the oven's broken and I can't make an actual lasagna because that's what I really want. But lasagna soup actually sounds quite cool. It's kind of halfway between a lasagna and a soup. Same ingredients, but in a soup format. So we're going to see how we get on. Hopefully this will be not necessarily ready in 20 minutes, but I'll be finished in the kitchen in about 20 minutes. I'm going to put the timer on now and we'll see how we get on. So same ingredients as lasagna. We need some onions first. We're going to get the onions on first. We might also boil the kettle in a second. I always find peeling onions is a bit of a chore. Never too keen on doing it, but they are the source of savoury flavouries, so it has to be done. And rare is the meal that doesn't start off with a bit of chopped onion. I'm going to get the hob on. The hob's marginally broken. I have to light it manually with this large match. I was going to try and make a joke, something like something to do with football, but I can't quite work it out. I'll get back to you on that particular joke. It's amazing how quickly the time goes. Let's see, that's 1 minute already, so we're going to try and do this in 20. So the first rule of cooking is get your onions on, get your pan on. Got some sunflower oil in the pan. Get the ovens in, they'll start to sizzle. It's just quite a small onion, so I'm going to use a red onion as well. I should maybe talk about my method of onion destruction. Take off a little bit of mank on the outside. I like to cut down the middle, so knife straight down, and then do these little sort of, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm sort of doing sideways fans. And then when you chop the end, it's all done and dusted. It falls into pieces. I can hear the onions start to sizzle. Pulling off, especially these red onions, the skin's coming off quite easily, but pulling off onion skin is honestly a job for your sous chef, quite frankly, if there was one, if I had one. Got a nice cast iron pan where this lot is going to simmer away. Right, let's get these onions done and then we'll move on. Right. Get that in there. Right, give that a bit of a stir up. Can you see me over here? Just about. I need to get the kettle on. One thing most recipes also call for is hot water. I'm also going to put a little bit of root veg in the mixture. This is as much carrot as I've got left. It's also slightly soft, but it'll be alright. But anyway, I just like to get a bit of root veg in everything. It's the day before a delivery of vegetables, so I'm just using whatever is left over, really. That's a good thing about getting a delivery. I've mentioned Riverford before. I'm not a huge fan of the guy who runs Riverford, because he's a bit of a snowflake remainer. On the other hand, you kind of want your organic growers to be snowflake remainers, don't you? I think I probably said this exact speech before. Yeah. And parsnip, unconventional choice for lasagna, but the idea is that it will go sort of soft Some people think parsnips are a bit unpleasant, but I actually really like it. There's a piece gone on the floor. And we're going to put some kale in as well, but maybe not right now. Okay, that's pretty much 5 minutes gone, and all I've done is chop some root veg and put it in a pan. That's what it looks like. I really must get myself a cameraman. What else? I want to put some lentils in as well. I've also got some nice butcher's mince. How the butchers are that? You do want to get a nice bit of brown on your root veg. That's kind of caramelized flavors. That's what you want in your finished article. Okay, so I'm just going to lob this meat in. Let's bring this over again. So we're browning off the meat. Can't see me now, so I can't see that now. So you obviously want to keep poking the meat, as it were, because it's otherwise a massive great lump. Try not to throw your food all over the top. So we've got to keep the meat moving around. Until the whole lot gets brown. Now it's sort of sticking a bit, so I'm going to just turn it down a little bit. So I had the heat quite high for the root veg. A couple of escapees going on there. So I'm going to keep them. I was keeping the heat quite high for the root veg to caramelise, but now you don't want to get the mince sticking at the bottom of the pan. You could, if you wanted to, add a bit of oil more, or a bit of water maybe, but the meat itself does release some nice bit of juice, so really you can go okay. So it's kind of calmed down a little bit because the meat was kind of cold, so you can afford to turn it up a bit. So smell wise, we've just got a nice kind of sweetness coming off those parsnips, which is why you want to be putting that kind of thing in. You wouldn't put parsnip in an actual lasagna, but because it's going to cook like a soup, you can get away with something a bit more kind of solid like a root veg, because it's going to soften in the liquid. Well, it was just like half a big parsnip. Right, what I want now is some stock. So the liquid is going to be, this is beef stock cube and a tin of tomatoes. And I'm going to cook, for ease of speed, I'm going to cook the pasta in the liquid. So a nice bit of crumbly brown substance. Make sure that's not sticking. Right, so these stock cubes are quite tricky to probably go best part of a litre. So the meat is now releasing a bit of juice, and that stock's going to need a good stir. And then, yeah, so we're kind of getting there already. It's pretty straightforward, this. So you'll add a bit of green leafy substance. This is a load of dried herbs I got in Turkey ages ago. It's lasted ages. I'm gonna stand back here so you can see my face. Not that you particularly want to do that. Stirring that. This is coming on. The stock, get the stock going. What's in the news this week? There's going to be a general election in 2 days. I'm thoroughly sick of the entire affair. Nobody's covering themselves in glory. Corbyn is trying to spend all the money in the world. Johnson is trying to ignore kids and ignore stories about kids being treated on the floor of hospitals. So it is not an edifying experience, and I wish it would just stop, which it will do in a couple of days, and we'll be on to the next thing. Anyway, enough politics. Let's see how we're getting on with this. So, Toms are going in. So, that is going to need some cooking. I really need a cameraman. So that's going to need to simmer down a little bit, and then we'll put the pasta in, and you can kind of top it with cheese, or whatever you want. So there we are. It's 10 minutes in. Bring that to the boil, maximum thrust. Some tomatoes, waste not, want not, whatever that means. Also, we need some garlic. I usually use garlic paste, because if you get garlic, if you do normal cloves of garlic, get it on your fingers, you just smell like a massive garlic for about a week. So I quite like a bit of garlic in there. There we go, half a tube. So ideally, you would kind of simmer this down, well, for as long as you've got. I'm just going to bring this to the boil. Simmer it for a bit, and then we'll put the pasta in. And then, because the idea of this is that even though a dish it may take longer than 20 minutes to cook, but as long as you only have to stand there actually, you know, fiddling with it for 20 minutes, then you can go off and do something else and leave it on the hob. Bingo. So that's the general idea. So if we can get some, what am I going to put in? I could do with some twiddly pasta, but I haven't really got any, I don't think. Bene. Yeah. Ollo with the bene. And that was a Finnish accent I did there. Isn't pasta from Finland? Is that right? Anyone know their international foods? Pasta from Finland. Reindeer from Napoli. Yeah, so this needs to bring to the boil. Then all we've got left is I've got a jar of lentils, which I think I'm going to put in to thicken it. So again, what I like to do is have plenty for seconds, or next day leftovers. That's the phrase I'm searching for. So tins of stuff like lentils and whatever are your best friend if you're going to do this kind of thing. They're cooked. Well, primarily they're already cooked. That's the main benefit. All right, so this is boiling up, much as you'd have a pot of water boiling for cooking pasta in. We've got a pot of stew cooking, so I like to make very accurate measurements. This is what I call a chug of pasta, just to verify the chug. It's a well-known Old English measurement of volume, a chug, connected with its smaller cousin, the sprinkle. And its middle cousin, the handful. Right, there we are. Starting to look a little bit more edible. Let's give you a little look at that. So, Yeah, so that's going to boil up now. What we need to do is let it have a bit of a boil. Now this is probably going to take about 10 minutes to cook the pasta, so I'm going to put the lid on, turn it right down. Probably going to stop the timer, which is on 15 minutes, go off and have 10 minutes lie down, and then come back. In fact, what we forgot to do is I'm going to put the kale in. Let's just turn this around here. I'm going to put the kale in. All the kale. So the kale. I'm going to put also. What kale is good for? Well, it's quite a robust. It's really good for your eyes, and it's quite a robust vegetable. It's easy to cook and not that easy to muck it up. It just comes off like that with a sharp knife. You can just get the leaves off. And then if with the stalk, and I don't want to throw the stalk away. I'm going to say waste not, want not again, but not that I know what that means. It's something to do with don't complain if you waste stuff, because you've wasted stuff, so you can't complain. I think that's what it boils down to. However, waste not, want not is quite a lot more succinct, which is presumably why people say it. So chop up the kale. So the kale, you can just put it in, and because it's kind of, it's got a bit of meat to it, as it were. You can just put it in, and it doesn't just dissolve into mush instantly, like something like a spinach would. And yeah, so you also often people say to throw away the stalk. I throw away that by the stalk, but the stalk will cook just as nicely. So I think I'll get the kale in now. Stir that in. That's going to look nice. It's really heavy, this tripod and camera. Right, so 16.5 minutes. I need the rest of the 3.5 minutes to finish it off. So I'm going to stop the camera there, not fiddle with it at all, and just let that simmer for a little while. And then we'll come back in a minute and take the lid off. Well, it's probably about 10 minutes to take the lid off and see what happens. Okay, see you in a bit.